All right, let's jump right into this explainer and absolutely shatter a massive misconception about using generative AI to build your personal brand. Right now, there's this wild gold rush mentality out there, isn't there? People are looking at AI as this magic wand that's going to instantly generate a unique voice, build an audience, and craft a reputation completely from scratch. But we're going to look at the data today to show why that is completely backward. The core truth here: AI is your accelerator, not your identity.
So think about this glaring paradox we're facing today. Everyone is using AI, so why do most personal brands still fail? If we all have access to the exact same foundational models, if you and I are both using the exact same version of ChatGPT or Claude, then just outputting content is no longer a competitive advantage. The playing field is entirely leveled. When literally everyone can produce infinite text in a matter of seconds, content alone stops being unique. It just becomes a commodity.
The answer to that paradox is actually pretty simple. It's because they rely on AI instead of identity. Creators fail when they expect an algorithm to replace their authentic voice, rather than just using it to enhance what's already there. Your lived experiences, your highly nuanced perspective, your specific personal story, those are the only things that will ever make you stand out in a saturated market. AI? Well, it just helps you express those unique elements faster and better. We really need a complete paradigm shift here. The trap is believing that AI builds your brand, but the reality is that AI scales who you already are. It's a ridiculously powerful productivity engine, right? It can organize your thoughts, it can transcribe your messy voice notes, and optimize your subject lines. But it is absolutely not a silver bullet for your identity. If you bring zero unique perspective to the prompt box, you're going to get zero value out of it.
Just to help wrap our heads around the sheer scale of this shift, Gartner actually projects that by 2025, 30% of all marketing content will be created with the assistance of AI tools. I mean, think about that. That represents an absolute flood of content hitting the internet every single day. If you aren't bringing your human essence to the table, your message is just going to get completely drowned out in this automated noise.
And over-relying on AI creates what we call this sea of sameness. Highly literate, sophisticated consumers have essentially developed a sixth sense for AI text by now. We can instantly detect the symptoms, can't we? The flawless but totally hollow grammar, a completely flattened voice, a loss of emotional resonance, and zero cultural nuance. It's that exact feeling you get when you read an article that is technically perfect, yet somehow completely lifeless. That's the flattening effect of AI in action.
Let's actually look at a fascinating historical example to see exactly what we lose when we let an algorithm take over our writing. This is the famous biological discovery announcement from James Watson and Francis Crick regarding the structure of DNA. Notice the phrasing. It has not escaped our notice. See how a human voice uses deliberate understatement and calculated restraint to build suspense? It's this subtle, brilliant academic humblebrag that gives the text profound character.
But watch what happens when you feed that exact same concept into ChatGPT. It totally strips away the authority and the drama. It rewrites it to say, the base pairing structure provides a clear mechanism for DNA replication. I mean, yes, it's clear, it's direct, but it entirely flattens the voice in the pursuit of mere clarity. It takes a perfectly timed, dramatic pause and turns it into a boring, generic statement. It literally removes the human mind from the page.
Fortunately, the industry is already waking up to this reality. Data from HubSpot shows that a massive 75% of marketers already recognize that blending automation with authentic human creativity is the only path forward. They realize you can't just hit generate and publish. You have to combine the raw speed of AI with the actual soul of a human.
Escaping the sea of sameness, 4 ways to stand out. Let's move right into the actionable strategies you can use to inject that human nuance back into your content. You can systematically stand out by following this 4-step framework. Step 1 is all about the questions you ask. Look, AI cannot replicate human curiosity. Asking innovative, unconventional questions is what leads you to unexplored angles. Step 2 is bringing unique data and primary research. Gathering your own surveys or interviews adds originality that AI simply doesn't have in its training data. Step 3 is applying your unique lens, meaning the lived experiences that shape how you interpret the world. And finally, step 4 is offering your unique point of view and recommendations. This means giving actionable, real-world solutions that account for the messy business realities that AI just doesn't understand. To actually pull those strategies off, you need what researchers call a human-in-the-loop creation model.
Basically, this is a workflow where AI handles the heavy lifting, things like data analysis, optimization, or generating initial concepts. But humans strictly maintain final editorial control, narrative direction, and emotional expression. You're positioning AI as your creative sidekick, not a complete replacement for your brain. Academics have actually mapped out exactly how to preserve this authenticity. There are three main pillars here. The technical approaches, which maintain your specific linguistic patterns. Human synergy, which sustains those authentic parasocial relationships you've built with your audience. And quality assurance, things like peer reviews and transparency protocols, to ensure you aren't losing the trust of sophisticated consumers. This is exactly how the pros systematize authenticity.
Which brings us to a really vital lesson in personal knowledge management: the difference between automation and authenticity. If your AI system is just summarizing and filing away hundreds of articles, but you never actually read, synthesize, or connect those ideas yourself, well, you're just hoarding data. You aren't actually learning, and you certainly aren't growing your identity.
So here is your actionable blueprint for everyday use. Let AI do the grunt work. Use it as an analyzer, not a writer. Have the AI flag clarity issues in your draft, sure, but fix those issues your own way to preserve your specific tone. Synthesize ideas yourself instead of just relying on automated summaries. And always, always reserve your human creativity for that final touch. You have to fiercely protect your role as the thinker and the final editor.
If you take absolutely nothing else away from this explainer, please remember this. AI doesn't build your brand, it scales who you already are. Your personal brand success and the trust you build with your audience relies entirely on the identity, the expertise, and the unique perspective you bring to the table before the AI is even turned on.
I'm going to leave you with this final, kind of provocative thought to chew on the next time you sit down to create content. If you're outsourcing all of your generation to a machine, if AI is doing the writing, who is doing the thinking? Don't outsource your intellect. Use these incredible tools to amplify your authentic voice, absolutely, but never let them silence it.